गुरु महिमा, गुरु महिमा, अपार महिमा, गुरु महिमा, गुरु महिमा, गुरु महिमा, अपार महिमा, गुरु महिमा, किं वचनीयं गुरु महिमा, किं वचनीयं गुरु महिमा, किं वचनीयं गुरु महिमा, किं वचनीयं गुरु महिमा, अणुरणीयान् गुरु महिमा, महतो महीयान् गुरु महिमा, अणुरणीयान् गुरु महिमा, महतो महीयान् गुरु महिमा, सच्चिदानंद गुरु महिमा, भावय हे मन गुरु महिमा, सच्चिदानंद गुरु महिमा, भावय हे मन गुरु महिमा, गुरु महिमा, गुरु महिमा, अपार महिमा, गुरु महिमा, अपार महिमा, गुरु महिमा, अपार महिमा, गुरु महिमा, Who are the parents of Kartikeya? Of course Shivji, but this avatara, that this is also the child of the Agni Devata. There are some stories, but generally we say Parvati and Shiva, but Agni Devata also is considered to be the parents' father, and Shivji also is involved. There are some stories about it. I will see the story little bit more in detail. I had studied read long time back. More I will tell. The retreat brochures are in Sanskrit and translated in English. Very much thankful. My request is to meaning of the verse is given. It will be a permanent one in addition to the notes taken. Perhaps wrongly at times. See, generally the translation is given with the booklet given any stotra, shlokas are there, transliteration is there, and meaning will be there. This is how generally it is done. But somehow I have a particular consideration. My consideration is that when translation is given, people become very impatient. You know what happens? When I read the shloka and I start explaining the shloka, they have already read the translation. I understood, oh, that is said in the shloka. So mind is not available. In fact, he goes to the second shloka translation also. Third shloka also, and then you will be looking here and there. Okay, kaam khatam, work done. People have a lot of impatience. I have seen that. And therefore, deliberately, even though some Swamijis, they suggest to give translation, they give it, but I have so much value for having the attention of the students. I am like some jealous spouse, they don't want their spouse to see anywhere else. So similarly, I don't want you to see anywhere else. Sanskrit is there, so you can't read further. That is the reason I am not giving translation. But on reading this, I will do one thing. After the first shloka is over, I will read, I will myself will make the translation, and those who want to write can write the translation. I will dictate the translation. Or at the end of the camp, we will give you the translation. Okay. So, yeah, afterwards no problem. Exam over. I hope you understood the purpose. Because human mind is this. They want to see what is there, what is there. Even with this, I have not given translation also. Sometimes people seeing, they are looking there. When I am explaining something, they will be looking there. Human mind is not having capacity to remain in the present. Jumping mind. So to take care of that jumping mind to some extent, we are deliberately not giving the translation. Is it clear? Are you convinced of this? Huh? He asked this question, he at Murugan temple also. And afterwards he supported my idea by saying that, Swamiji, if you know the story of the film, you will not go to watch the film. So I said, yeah, you understood my answer. He said, yes. If you know the story of the film, you may not be so much interested in watching. All right, so this is the purpose, but we will give the translation either after every shloka I will give translation, or at the end we will print and give it to you. Whoever wants, we can give. Khatvangam is the overcome 3 stages to reach Turiyam, to have by punishment, little confusing. Okay. See, there are 2 different standpoints. It's not that the Turiya is punishment. Turiyam is one interpretation and the tool for punishment is another interpretation. 2 different interpretations. It's not that, I think you had asked this question? Yeah. So Turiya is not, when we are taking that meaning, then punishment meaning is not taken.
I was not referring to that, Swamiji. I said the Turiyam state to reach, are you, this Katvanga helps cutting down the 3 earlier states.
Yes.
To reach Turiyam.
Okay. Oh, it is a Purusha, to attain the Purusharthas. Okay. So Khatvanga is to be, is the end. Khatvanga is to be overcome, is to overcome 3 states. And to reach Turiya, to have the Purusharthas, you mean?
You are also mentioning 4 Purusharthas.
Yes.
To attain the Purusharthas.
Okay. Yeah, this is, I think I understood one issue. I gave 2-3 interpretation of the same word. And each word is to be seen independently. So from this I understood I should not oversupply. I think if I will give one interpretation only so that it remains well. I wanted to give some little more. So these two are different interpretation. Khatvanga as a Purushartha is one, Khatvanga as the Turiya Avastha is another one. And in fact one more is there, Khatvanga as the Danda for punishment. That also is there. But we can take one that Khatvanga represents Purushartha. Okay. The Turiya is another way of looking at it. Okay. So they are not to be combined. But yes, Turiyam is what? Turiyam is the truth of the three states of experience. Really speaking, it is not the fourth state. Turiyam iti manyante. Jagrat, waking state, what we have now. Swapnavastha, dream state. And third, deep sleep state. In all the three states of experience, consciousness, pure consciousness is underlying reality, invariable reality. And it is separately mentioned to show that it is not limited to any one of them. It is in and through all of them, but not limited by any one of them. Therefore, it is Chaturtham Manyante, it is called the fourth. Really, it is not the fourth, it is the only one. It is the only one upon which other three are superimposed. It is something like an actor is playing the role of a beggar, a minister and the king. So the actor as a person is not the fourth person. He is in and through all the three and not limited by any one of these three. To reveal this type of nature of the actor, we say the actor is the fourth one. Really, it is not the fourth one. It is underlying, invariable, abiding reality of all the three. What is the significance of three Chatur Bomai? Three?
Those three dolls you have kept.
Oh, the three dolls here. There is no, it is just to give the example that shapes are different, but the reality is the same clay. That's all.
I understood it as because it keeps rolling, and then finally gravity keeps it in force. So like that.
Yeah, you can derive any message, but I have not yet derived that. We can derive that message as well. Okay. Then do they represent one? What is it? Nind? One? Mind? Manaha, Buddhi, Chitta. No, I have not derived this meaning. Today only I saw them here. So I have not derived any such meaning. But you can derive if it helps you to understand the subject matter. For me, I only thing is their nama rupas are different. But the truth is Mritika ityeva satyam. That is the message. Clay alone is reality. Okay. In the morning class, you had mentioned that men are also emotional, but they do not express it like crying uncontrollably, etc. Recently, in the Australia Open 2023 final, after winning the title match, what is it? What is it? The person? Djokovic. I don't read this. First reaction was the usual hand clasping and grunting and shouting. Later, after a few minutes, when he climbed the viewers box and hugged his coach, mentor, and fell down on the floor and covered his face, cried uncomfortably for a long time. I kept thinking what may be the reason for his uncontrolled crying, as his event situation calls for the joyful celebration. See, they say that two types of tears are there. One is the tears of joy and tears of sadness. And another thing is, psychology says that this type of situation person might have missed for a very long time. This player is not that in the first attempt he got it. he must have missed it for days together, months together, years together, and that pain of missing, which was there hidden, suppressed, it comes out. Therefore, when you get something which you have been missing for a very long time, you cry. Because that pain, the suppressed pain of missing it, it is released at that time. Therefore, also it comes. Kindly clarify how men can express their bottle of emotion apart from silent crying. See, first of all, we need not have this stereotype thinking that I am a man, I should not cry. It is okay to cry. Of course, if your crying is going to depress the people around, then you can be little mindful about it, and you can cry it in a limited measure so that people don't feel more depressed. But if that type of situation is not there, don't suppress your crying. It is okay to cry. In fact, it is good to cry because your emotions come out. Therefore, they say sometimes when somebody dies and the spouse, especially wife, is not crying, people will make her cry. If she doesn't cry, then the pain will be so much suppressed and it may affect the health. So sometimes crying is useful, helpful. So we need not have this thinking that crying is a crime. Crying is not a crime. Even crime thing people do it, that why you are afraid? So need not have. Crying does not mean every time this weakness. Yes, certain emotions are overpowering, therefore there are tears. It's okay. So first of all, men need to learn that it is okay to cry. Nothing wrong in crying. And second thing is, if you cannot cry, at least you write your emotions. Share with somebody. Either you write it, and if somebody trustworthy person is available, then you share your emotions. Or if you are a devotee, go to the puja room and talk to the Lord. But let it come out. There are ways to let them out, and we use all of them. Whatever means available, we can express. And these emotions need not be all the time sadness. Sometimes it can be anger also. You are angry with someone. Then what do? You write. In fact, you can write over abusive language if you want to use it. You write and then tear it. You write a letter to that person that you are like this, you are like this. All Ashtotara you can do it, and then finally you tear it. Or you are angry with Bhagavan. Swami, Bhagavan, you have done so much injustice. Write a letter to Bhagavan. And afterwards you can keep it in front of Bhagavan, you don't mind. Bhagavan will not mind. You keep it in front of the Lord, He will keep it. He won't mind. He will understand. In eyes of Bhagavan, you are always okay. That's a very important thing to know. Your sadness, your anger, your jealousy, your weakness, your feeling low, all are understandable in the eyes of Ishvara. Because Ishvara is order. And whatever is happening to you is in order. And therefore, figuratively speaking, in the eyes of Ishvara, you are always okay. So this is a very important thing to know. I am okay with any emotion I have. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to be angry. It means it is understandable to be angry. We need not say, okay, it is understandable to be angry. It is understandable to feel jealous. Understandable. You validate your emotions. Don't criticize yourself for having the emotions. It is Understandable. Yes, we can change our background so that emotions will change. But with the given background, it is okay to have the emotions I have right now. I tell you, if you understand and apply in your life, you have a therapist with you all the time. And you know the job of therapist? Job of therapist is to validate your feelings. And when you have the understanding of Ishvara as order, you have all the time therapy. It is understandable. It may not be justifiable. What I did, I shouted at that person, is not justifiable, but it is understandable. So you can validate your feelings, you can validate others' feelings. So how, the question is, what may be the reason and what is the how man can express their bottle of emotions apart from silent crying? Why should you silently cry? Loudly cry, no problem, no problem. Nothing wrong. It is okay to cry. As I told, crying is not a crime. No. Crying, And as I said, writing the letters, etc. can be useful. Or angry, outburst, using abusive language. Yeah, you can use sometimes the language, but you don't pass it on to the person. Just write it on a letter and tear it off. It's okay. And after this outburst is released, whatever is bottle of emotions are released, that time you try to see the situation from that person's angle, or you see the situation from a larger picture, from the view of larger picture. Like my relative died and I am feeling sad. So you write a letter to Bhagavan or you express your sadness. But afterwards you see that isn't death an inevitable fact of life? Isn't it necessary to have death in this world? Imagine there was no death. Yamaraja goes on strike for 1 year. Imagine what will happen. People cannot die. And sometimes people are suffering so much that death alone seems to be remedy. And imagine Yamaraja extends his leave, 5 years he goes on strike, 10 years, what will happen? Without death, life on earth will be miserable. So you see the situation from a larger view, from a bigger standpoint. Then you will see that was in order. Or somebody shouted at you, so you are angry, you write a letter, etc. You did. Afterwards you see that that person shouted at me, did I contribute something for him to shout at me? Your immediate response will be what, no, I didn't do anything. But if you are little objective, you come out of your spell of emotions, you will see that you also had contributed directly or indirectly to his or her shouting. You will see that. Somewhere or the other, your contribution will be there. And sometimes, no, Swamiji, there is a mistaken identity. He thought me to be that person and he shouted at me. Swamiji, what I had done. It happened with me. When I was in the ashram, then one of my co-students, Brahmachari, he fell sick. He was hospitalized and he was a very social person, like he will mingle with all patients. He started talking to them and all, very, very much interacting with him. And he used to console people, everything will be all right. And so he was very popular. And I was a look-alike. So what happened? Some patient died. And that time, that my co-student was taken out for some checkup, and for some reason I went there. Those people pounced on me. He said, you had told me he'll be all right, nothing happened, why all this? I said, I have not told. I remember this happened some years ago, maybe about 40 years ago, but still I remember. So that time how to handle? Some karma is exhausted. Nothing happens without a reason. Some basis will be there. In past janma, I must have cheated somebody. So I gave false promise and did not do whatever is to be done. So this janma, shouting without cheating. That time cheating without shouting. This time shouting without cheating. It's possible. See, sometimes some Swami, sannyasi does something and people ridicule us. We have not done that. But one Swami in Bangalore did something. You might be knowing that Bangalore Swami was there and some scandal was there. So people started telling me, oh, that Swamiji's name. So I have not done, that Swami has done something. I have not done anything, but they ridicule me, they make fun of us. Because we are also Swamis, you know. That time, you know what I should think? That sometimes without helping anything to anybody, we receive namaskara. I have not done anything to that person. I have not helped or taught or anything. Still, that person will do namaskara to us, and sometimes even given dakshina to us. No blessing, I have not done anything. Free dakshina, free namaskara. Why? Because they have value for some Swami. They are devoted to some Swami, and that Swami is not available, so they are seeing that Swami in me. And therefore they are offering respect. So if we are receiving respect with a smile, we should receive that also. So we see the situation from a bigger angle. Then what happens? We can neutralize our reactions. Otherwise, there are so many reasons to be unhappy every day. Shokasthana sahasrani bhavasthana shatani cha divase divase mudam avishantina panditam. Means there are hundreds and hundreds of reasons to make you unhappy. And many reasons to feel frightened. But if you have a mature way of looking at things, then they will not disturb us, or the disturbance will be minimum, or it can be made zero. Similarly, all other emotions we can validate. We need not judge ourselves based on the feelings we have. If I have some anger sometimes, I should not call myself as angry man. You know, there was one actor called Angry Man, young angry man. So I need not judge myself as angry man. You can say there is a tendency to get angry sometimes. Not only I don't judge myself, I don't judge others also. Judging means putting the person in a slot, stamp. This is angry man, this is a sad man, this is a funny fellow, like we have got titles, you know. Like folder name we give, no, in the computer folder, every file name, similarly we have given the name. This fellow is this fellow is this fellow is this, fellow is a lady is this, so unnecessary. He is a person, she is a person. Tendency to, sometimes they have a tendency to be like this. Don't put a particular slot. Don't put anybody in a slot. Don't put yourself also in a slot. You can say, yes, there is a tendency to do like this. Don't say, I am an angry person, I am a sad person, I am jealous. Don't try to describe yourself by a single word. Be as objective as possible about yourself and the world. That is maturity. That is called growing cognitively, growing intelligently, growing in terms of your emotional maturity. And that is what a person can do it. I think it has answered your question. Whoever has asked is answered. Okay. Now, any question anybody has? If you don't have question, I will ask question. Is it okay? How many of you are ready to be asked questions? 1, 2. But your book should be closed, okay? Book should not be open. If book is open, out. Okay, how many are ready? 1, 2, 3. Karan, you are ready?